Hello, welcome back to Hazel Jane Tarot, and today we're going to talk about my top 5 Oracle decks of 2021. So these are not in order. I tried to rank my top 5 tarot, but these are not in order because I love all of them. And yeah, it was impossible to pick out a favourite. So this little deck is the Song of My Heart Oracle by Hand Me That Pencil, and I'll try to remember to link her Instagram account and shop below because this is an indie creator in New Zealand. So I was following her account for a good long time and finally decided to go for it with this deck. Now this is actually, as you can see, it's quite chunky oracle. It's really two oracles which you can buy as one set if you wish. So I got the combined set. So this deck is really rooted in New Zealand landscapes. And although I have never been to New Zealand, I still really enjoy that aspect of this deck and the way she's interwoven the natural landscape and creatures and so on into the deck. You can see that it's based on drawings of women of all different kind of shapes and sizes and ages and so on, and each card has an affirmation on it. So for example, my light feeds my magic, guided by the strength and wisdom of the manta ray, I manifest my truest desires. So it's like a magic wand and the manta rays. Or I live with eternal hope, I believe I can endure great sorrow and emerge stronger through any transformation. And the creator, I believe, has actually survived cancer as well, so this is particularly poignant card. So it's just a beautiful deck, and it's a lovely it goes a little bit beyond, the you're awesome type affirmations. I explore new ideas, solitude allows clarity, I support my soul. So it's a really lovely deck to work with. And I used it for daily draws for quite a while after I got it, and I'll have to bring it back out again soon, but it maybe has a little bit of a summery feel to me, but maybe that's just because I associate New Zealand with travel, because it's not here. Maybe if I lived in New Zealand it would feel a little different. So from one side of the world to the other, I'm sure there's no surprises for anyone that one of my favourite oracle decks of 2021 is the Sacred Ireland Celtic Moon deck. Now this is created by Moon Mana, which is Karen Ward, and Bernie Sexton is the artist. So you can follow them on YouTube and on Instagram. They're quite active on Instagram, and they do sort of monthly kind of interviews around different themes on a YouTube channel and podcast. So if you want to check out Moon Mana, that's the spelling of it. It's M-N-A, Father for Na, which basically means moon woman. So it's a lovely deck, and this was a gift from my sister, which makes it extra special. So it goes through the different phases of the moon, the different seasonal moons of the year, like there we've got the old moon and the milk moon, each one having a keyword associated. Then you have a number of goddesses of Ireland, like Ermid and Eru there. Some of the symbols associated with Ireland, the different seasonal feasts like Beltane, and then sites from around the country like Newgrange and Loughcrew, both of which I've been to. So it's just a really wonderful deck for me. I'm sure there are many people who would connect with it in the same way, that they are the fact that it is goddesses of my culture and places that I can visit on the landmass that I live on, and just all of that. It just really connects, and I worked with it loads when I got it first, and I could be continuing to work with it. I believe Moon Mana also publish a diary, and they also have just brought out a book about goddesses, which I'm going to have to read at some point. But I have quite the reading list of books about Celtic stories and goddesses and so on already, so I don't want to add anything to my TBR pile just yet. Speaking of goddesses, again, no surprises if you've been watching my channel for a while. The Goddess Love Oracle by Wendy Andrew is one of the top Oracle decks of the year for me. Wendy Andrews' art is just so nice. It has such a lovely, comforting feeling, and like the way she envisions different goddesses, it's just beautiful. I first encountered her art, well, I'd seen the Goddess Dream Oracle, to be honest. I had seen it on people's channels, but where I really connected with it was in Glastonbury, where her beautiful Wheel of the Year is in the Goddess Temple, where I spent some time while I was in Glastonbury in August. And then I bought this deck in the Goddess Temple shop. And I worked with it every night for a nightly card pull for August, September, October, November, December. So this got a lot of love last year, and it is just beautiful. I love the seasonal quality to the images, and even though the images are kind of similar from one image to the next, I still really enjoyed the messages, and it felt very apt, particularly as we moved into autumn and winter. So I probably will want to work with the Goddess Dream Oracle at some point, because it's the same artist and the same idea, I think. But it's a nice bedtime deck. The messages are very nurturing and gentle, and the little guidebook is nice as well. The guidebook builds sort of very gentle keywords up into a little bit more of a challenge to you. So it was nice to use the guidebook as well. So all those other decks that I've shown so far are readily available. Unfortunately, this one is not, but this was one of the decks that I got in 2021. So the Mother's Wisdom deck is out of print, and I got it through a Facebook buy sell trade where I actually just posted an in search of, and somebody got back to me that they had one available. We negotiated a price and I sent away for it. And it was sent to me from California, I think. So it was expensive because it is out of print and not that easy to get. So the real strength of this deck is actually in the guidebook. So the guidebook is by Nikki Dewart and Elizabeth Marglin, and it is very much geared towards mothers in the content. And I mean, if you even look at the images on the cover, like we have pregnancy, we have baby wearing, a little butterfly and the baby in the sling, we have breastfeeding, you know, so it's very much geared towards motherhood, and especially I think mothers of young children. And I'd read in a review that it was somebody who had used it and who said they wished they'd had it when their children were young. And I then decided I wasn't going to wait around for it to come back into print. I was going to secure myself a copy while my daughter is young. So she was 2 at the time that I managed to buy this. And so each entry, you get a full card picture. So there's a explanation of the card, and then just like a whole reflection on the theme about motherhood and your mothering journey. So it can be about the dynamic with the child, but also your own sort of inner journey and so on. So you have animal mothers, you have historical mothers and goddess mothers and nature mothers. And each one of them sort of has a message. And I tend to pull one card for the month and then let that card sit out as a reminder. So I had this card, Horse, which was about really leaning into your child's playfulness and not trying to restrict them too much with rules. And that was really apt and a really nice lesson. There was one I pulled over December, which was about connection and about the wider community, which, you know, for a month where we were spending time with family, an extended family, was really appropriate. So I just pull one card a month from this, and it is lovely and I love it. And I'm sorry it's not easily available. It should be. They should bring it back into print. And again, probably no surprise if you've been watching my channel that my last favourite in the top 5 oracles of 2021 is this Through the Eyes of the Soul by Cheryl Yambach Rose. And this is a 2021 publication, I believe. The backs are so beautiful and peaceful. And it's interesting that in this, the eyes are closed, whereas Cheryl's art style is to begin with the eyes and work out from the eyes in a spiral in order to create like sort of channeled spiritual art. And her art's inspired by a huge host of different sources, which initially I found quite jarring. And in her other deck, the Transcendent Journeys tarot that I have, I don't connect with it as much, partly because of that diversity. this looks very like my partner. But this deck, it features a lot of images of Glastonbury and a lot of images that are inspired by Celtic and Irish landscapes, as well as other places. I think this was Prague maybe. And I understand from reading her book Art Through the Eyes of the Soul, which I scored secondhand in Glastonbury in a bookshop, that she lived in Prague for a while. And the reason also Mount Shasta appears so much in her art is because she also lived there for a while. So this is, for example, one of the Glastonbury images showing the Chalice Well and Glastonbury Tor. So having been there this year, this has been, and buying this deck in Glastonbury, and I'm sure I've told the story before, there it is, I've told the story 10 times. The hotel that I was staying in Glastonbury had this art print framed on the wall of the bedroom. And when I saw this deck available in the shop, they had a copy out that you could shuffle. So I lifted the copy and shuffled the deck to pull a card to see what it would get, to just help me decide whether to buy the deck or not. And this was the card that I pulled. And I just, because it was the image that was already familiar to me from my bedroom in the hotel, I just went, oh, okay, I have to buy this. So I did. And I have found this deck really great to work with. And just because the art is so beautiful to look at, it's lovely to display cards from, to, you know, sort of a card of the day sitting on my little easel. And the little explanations in the book are helpful because sometimes the image is a bit unclear, in the sense that I maybe don't immediately recognize the myth or the legend or the place that's been referenced, which it maybe explains in the little guidebook, or it explains a bit more the concept. For example, this one, the powerful space between opposite poles and the kind of religious imagery there, I find that a bit hard to understand at first, but the little book explained the image a bit better for me. So this deck I just love, and have worked with loads, and I've put it away for now, but actually looking through it again, I kind of miss it. I'm trying to give another Oracle deck a bit of a turn, but I really do love this deck. And I think the Glastonbury connection makes a huge difference. There's the Tor again, a nice place to finish. So thank you so much for watching. I'm obviously losing the natural light rapidly by the second. It is 4:45, and although there is, as we say in Ireland, a queer stretch in the evenings, since we've moved past the solstice, we're getting a bit more light in the evenings, which is great. But obviously it's getting to that time to turn the lights on, so also time to turn the camera off. So if you've watched to the end, thank you so much for being here on my channel. And I would love to hear what you think of my choices. Did you agree? Were you surprised? Are there any of those decks that you like? And if you've filmed your own top oracles of 2021, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to go over and watch that. Or if you don't make videos for YouTube, and just tell me in the comments what your top 5 are. I'd love to hear. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here again soon. Bye.